Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are watching in the world, and welcome to another live rendition of Dual Dynasty, your WWE review show here on the BC WrestlePod Network, podcasting, Twitch, YouTube conglomeration syndicate thing we do on the internet almost every single day of the week, except for Thursdays and Saturdays. But that might change in a little bit. I am one of your
Now that we have 2 days off, we're going to take those 2 days away.
Yes, basically. Like all life things, they giveth and they taketh away. Which I am your host.
He's just looking at us, man. Work, monkeys, work all day, every day.
Watch
all the
all
wrestling.
the things.
Work.
All of them.
No, I'm actually pretty good. We have kind of had it lucky for the last couple of months, but once April hits, it's all hands on deck, and all of you gonna help me. I'm just kidding, but I am your host.
I'll be relaxing in California.
You're gonna be working, boy. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways, my name is Mikey. I am one of your hosts for Dual Dynasty, and joining me this week, of course, is my brother from another mother and another ethnicity. Apparently, is Mr. Minnie Moss.
Yeah,
218. Minnie, how are you? I'm happy to see you again. Right. It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, I was supposed to be here last week, but I forgot the daylight savings time was a thing. It changed, so I was an hour late when I wasn't supposed to be. I was ready. I was on my computer ready to go, and Mikey was like, "You realize that we started this an hour ago, right?" And I was like, "Oh, oh, right."
Arizona is a whole entire. Yeah, Arizona is a whole entire thing in itself, but it's all hot, good. Man. And then of course, I can only imagine. I mean, I always rock tank tops regardless of the weather, but it is now getting into the 90 degrees already. We just skipped spring and we're going straight into summer down here. But of course, rounding out our trio this morning / afternoon / evening, whenever you're watching this, is the good old professor, who has also been busy doing fight choreography and stuff like that, and also did a short trip to out of state not too long ago either.
Shoot, spring break was not a break. I had stuff everywhere. And now I'm like, oh, I got to start teaching tomorrow. I don't know what I'm teaching tomorrow. What am I teaching tomorrow? So I'm trying to watch wrestling and get my brain back into it. So I think we can all agree the international crowds are kind of the best. Like they're killing it. I mean, they're way more exciting than these like I'm not saying Americans are bad, but
we American crowds are just like, yeah, we get this all the time. This is cool. The international crowds are like, we get this once every 10 years. We're going to make it fucking worth it.
Yeah, I guess it's got to be some of that, right? Because American crowds are just sort of, I'm here, I paid, entertain me. Whereas the European crowds are like, hey, this is an event. I'm excited to be alive. Let's go. I don't know.
I get to watch people fight and drink beer. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's just random Mondays and Fridays in Europe, and all hell's breaking. Like they're just getting ovations for, and they're real. I mean, I don't want to build this up too much. We got a lot to talk about. It's just, it feels like it's a pay-per-view on Monday and Fridays. Like it's that same energy and intensity, and all the wrestlers are like, "Oh my god, you guys are like that!" Like they're fired up. I don't know. It's a trip to watch.
I'm so disappointed that Backlash this year is in the States because I was like, no, we ruined a good 2-year thing going.
Oh, that's so dumb. So dumb.
Fucking Saudi.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's gonna suck because next year's Rumble was in Saudi Arabia. I'm like, we're not reviewing it.
Not playing that game.
We're not playing that game. We have morals, kind of. But we're going to talk about these international crowds because they both rocked it for Raw and SmackDown. I will say, though, and I'll talk more about this in Raw, very short match times for a good chunk of the Raw matches. And I want to say even which is crazy to say, SmackDown, I think, had better paced matches than Raw, which was wild.
SmackDown, they let the women and the tag team run a little bit, which does not happen very often. I want to say Piper and Selena got a good 12, maybe even more minutes. Like they got a long time. And then the tag match was a good 13, 14. Like, oh, this is a chunk. We're doing it. I mean, you got 3 hours to fill. And you can't fill all of it with replays of Monday Night Raw. Like you got to do something.
That is very true. And now that we finalize what your big main event cards are going to be for Mania, now it's beginning to fill in the mid-card matches for which we'll talk about. SmackDown, I feel like it's doing a better job of giving us like, here are the matches that we're going to give you for WrestleMania on the SmackDown side.
Yeah, but
Raw, we need to figure it out. Anyways, let's move. Yeah. Let's begin, shall we? So speaking of Monday Night Raw, let's kick things off with Monday Night Raw because we started with this epic, if you will, 20-minute promo-ish, 20-minute promo from John Cena with a rebuttal from Cody Rhodes. Yeah. So I'm going to let this picture.
John Cena called me a B word.
He broke up with us, you guys. I have never been dumped in my life, and I don't know how to feel about it.
Yeah, but what's amazing is that John Cena kind of spoke most truths.
Yeah, he was right about everything.
He really was. And I'm just like, listen, I am excited for this final run from Cena, him being kind of just being like the proverbial middle finger up to the crowd and to the audience for over the last 25 years. Now he gonna be a heel type of character, which has me excited.
I also like how he pays attention to the internet because he talked about it. He goes, y'all gonna get a no new look, no new theme music. That's the whole talk.
Thank God, Def Rebel did not get John Cena.
So funny.
Well, John Cena wasn't gonna let Def Rebel touch any of his music. He goes, y'all ain't, because he has other like songs he had a heel song ready to go for when he was originally gonna turn heel like 10 years ago.
Yeah. When he lost John Cena got that rap album too. He's still getting royalties.
Right. So like he could have had all that, but he said, "No, I ain't changing nothing. That's me. Fuck you guys." Basically, is what he said.
Yeah, that one kid that they showed had me dying.
I can't help but feel that he's always wanted to do this because he's got stuff in the chamber, right? He's got 20 years worth of heel lines and jokes and stuff that he's ready to drop, and he's just been waiting on it. And I don't know if this was the plan all along or if it just sort of presented itself, or now I'm starting to feel like maybe it was Cena's idea. Hey, you know, I've always wanted to do this. That's the one thing in my career I've never done. Can I get a chance to go out there and just cook this audience? And he does. This and version of Cena, so good.
Russell Holte respects Cena has never been a heel. Because remember, original Dr. Thugonomics, Cena was a heel.
Sure.
He's one of those heels that everybody loved because he was funny, but he was a heel. But this is the first time hustle, loyalty, respect, John Cena turned heel.
Yeah. And
insane. I love it.
It's refreshing and it's heartbreaking, but it's also like, damn, he's gonna crush everybody. And I think he doesn't have a lot of time because we only have 6 months left of John Cena, right? Like we're going into 2026 with him, or is this the end of the year?
Rumble was his first major thing, so by Rumble next year is when he's
Rumble to Rumble.
Yeah, Rumble to Rumble.
He should have done Mania to Mania, but
I would anticipate the turn goes back to face at some point. The Rock might eat something. Something might go south somewhere. Cena sees change of heart, whatever. I don't know what it is. But he's earning some. It's really cool. I know it's heartbreaking and it stings, but that's what makes it good. It's wild.
This is great for Cena because this is his final hurrah before he retires and hangs it up in the ring. So I'm here for it. Now, I am going to get on my soapbox a little bit because once again, the internet wants to ruin the coolest parts of wrestling for folks. So I'm just going to say this. I won't spend too long on it. People have been complaining ever since the internet was a thing and Twitter became online diaries for most people. Y'all wanted this, and now that it's happening, now that we're complaining about it, I was like, there's no winning with you. Just leave. We don't want you here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you're still on LiveJournal complaining about John Cena, that was 20 years ago. Come on, man.
And what John Cena said in his promo to you is factually correct. That for the last 25 years, you wanted more for John Cena. You wanted this. What are we getting? And it was never enough for you people. I was like, when he dropped the you people line, I'm like, damn, John, just go for the jugular.
Yeah.
I love it. It was great.
And then he called us B words.
And then he called us
my childhood.
Well, and now and I know you're about to get to this. That's the only reason I jumped to this. I'm a little nervous for Cody because as good as Cody is at look at you. Hey, as good as Cody is at promos, as great a face Cody has been, John Cena's coming out there with a howitzer, like he's fired up.
I think Cody is aware of this. I think they talked about it. Now, here's the one thing I'm a little concerned about. We're so absorbed in the John Cena heel turn. What's he going to do as a heel and everything? I forgot this was a feud for the world championship.
Fair.
Like, I forgot Cody existed in this.
Sure.
Even though he turned heel on Cody and beat the shit out of Cody, then we watched, was it Travis Scott smack him?
Yeah.
Like, I forgot this was about Cody. I just like, we're so absorbed with the John Cena is a bad guy for the first time in a lot of our lives. This is insane. And it's like, oh yeah, Cody's here.
Well, I think that's great. Now Cody has to fight for something, and Cody does better when he has to fight uphill, right? Like that's just kind of
right. But it's not this. How does he fight uphill for this? Like, I don't know how like it's not a finish your story kind of fight uphill anymore.
Well, now it's sort of a fight for the soul of John Cena thing, and I think that's how they're going to encapsulate a little bit, right? He's going to try and get him away from The Rock. He's going to try and get him back to the people.
Maybe. I don't think Cody would have been the right person for it, just due to they don't have a lot of insane history between Cody and Cena.
No, I agree. It's a tall order for him. He's got to figure that out.
If it was somebody like, it would have been crazy. I wish he was still in the company. Like Edge would have been awesome, or even Randy would have been awesome for this.
CM Punk could have done this.
CM Punk, yeah, would have been great. Don't get me wrong. I love Cody. I've made that very obvious for the past couple years. I love Cody Rhodes right now. Would it be dope to see Cody turn into Cody Lander for this feud, to have Cody Lander versus my soul is missing John Cena? Yeah, that would be dope. I feel like that would be really cool. Because Cody might need to dig into some dark places in order to take down the insane authority that is John Cena and The Rock. That's a team up I didn't think I ever would see. Well, we did see it, but not like this.
Right.
I don't know.
They might push Cody to do some crazy stuff to be able to combat this. This is not just. I hope it doesn't turn into WrestleMania last year, where it's like example the Avengers have everybody come out and fight everybody. Then Cody wins.
Cannot have a repeat of that.
I feel like if they're gonna win, they should just do it clean. Like if they're gonna have Cena win, have Cena just beat him cleanly, or have Cody just beat him cleanly.
I don't disagree. I think you're right. I'm more interested in this than I was Cody Kevin, right? Because Cody Kevin seemed to me a little bit like, we were friends. He turns his back, and then Kevin went one direction, and Cody was kind of stuck in the middle of that by the time it was all ended.
That feud it still made sense, and it's still like the way.
Yeah, I think that this one's gonna have to cook. I mean, they don't got a lot of time. They got just a few weeks to make this really interesting. Other than
4 weeks until Mania, folks.
It's like, why are they fighting? Well, John Cena was mean to us. Oh, that's not a great feud.
Well, no, it's John got tired of the crowd and really wants to win his 16th title.
Sure.
So he's doing everything he possibly can to do it, which means sell his soul to The Rock.
Right.
Cody is like, no, that's not you, John. You don't do this. You're all about all the people. Let me remind you by kicking your ass.
It's just like at WrestleMania, I don't want to see this whiny little bitch, John Cena. I want the hustle loyalty. I want the man on the t-shirt.
And I wonder what we see. I wonder if John Cena wants to let this ride until Rumble. We'll see how many times we play this back and fighting for it. But
this was such a strong opening for sure.
I'm intrigued. If you had told me a few years ago, hey, you're going to be interested in John Cena in 2025. Wait, what? What? In the ring wrestling. Wait, really?
We're talking about John Cena this is 2007 again.
Sure.
For real.
Major 2008 John Cena, my bad. Superman John Cena, when he comes back from a pectoral tear in 7 months and it should have been out for 2 years.
Right.
Ugh. It is wild. But 4 weeks, I'm intrigued to see how we get to Mania between these two. I'm also interested to see where this ends up on Saturday or Sunday, because that's the fun part. Because last year, we didn't find out which matches were going on what nights until the week of. So that's going to be very interesting. So this is going to be interesting.
This is probably a night 2 match. I'm guaranteed this is a night 2 match.
Yeah, this screams night 2, because what a way to build into the Raw after Mania. But we'll talk. as the weeks go on, we will keep you covered here at Dual Dynasty. But let's move on to the rest of the show, which is crazy because I was like, whoa, this is great. Oh, wait, there's a rest. I was like, we have a rest of the show cover. Okay, we got this. This match slapped. This was fun.
Also, Ray Phoenix is officially signed with WWE. So are we going to get the Lucha Bros back up, or are they going to be?
We're going to talk about Ray Phoenix when we get to SmackDown because we keep getting these teases, which I'm excited for.
They put that teaser in there, and I went, "Wait, are you serious?"
I'm excited, but we do finally get to, after that opening segment, we finally get to our first match of the episode, which is a no-holds-barred match between Penta El Cero Miedo taking on Ludwig Kaiser. This is a really fun match for sure. These two have great chemistry together, and again, like we said with Andrade and Carmelo, I was like, if we get a best-of-7 series, I would not be mad.
I don't know. The way we're going, everyone faces everyone 10 times before they move on. That half a SmackDown I've seen before.
The insane thing is I don't think people talk about how good of a wrestler Ludwig is enough. I think he's more fantastic. Like one of the most underratedly good wrestlers on that roster. You can put him against anybody, it's going to be a good match.
He works well with everyone. Also, outside of wrestling character, very humble guy. His Chris Van Vliet interview was very nice.
I was just going to mention, if you'd seen that, he had some great one-liners in there talking about working as a face and kind of hating it because he was like, I didn't get to be myself. But when I'm a heel, I just feel like I get to be myself, and it's a little more fun. It's like
I didn't watch that. The only thing I know about him outside of wrestling is he's dating Tiffany Stratton. That's it.
Which they talked about on the interview too, and to watch him like get giddy about her, I was like, oh my gosh, this is love, you guys.
That's super cute.
And he's super supportive of Tiffany and everything. I'm just like, yes, I love it. It's great. But this was a fantastic no-holds-barred match. They got to fight in the ring, outside the ring. Ultimately, Penta does pick up the victory here. Fantastic. And, Penta calls out Bronze Breaker. We're going to put a pin in that because we're going to talk about the ending shot to this week's Raw with all of that. But Penta is coming for champions, which I'm excited for.
He hasn't lost a singles match yet, has he?
No, he hasn't gotten pinned yet in that triple threat between him, Ludwig, and Pete Dunne. Technically, he lost the match, but he wasn't the one to get pinned. So no, Penta hasn't gotten pinned yet.
He did touch the floor with both feet once, though.
Speaking of Peter Dunne, he will be at Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 13. So that's going to be fun to watch him. And also Natalia is also there. And so is
Fingers.
Is that this week?
No, that's leading into WrestleMania weekend, but we are going to do a watch along for Bloodsport 13.
There's so much stuff. Why is there so much stuff?
Because everybody's conglomerating to Vegas, and all the independents and big companies are doing things out there.
Shit.
Except for AEW / Ring of Honor, because they have opted not to do the Supercard of Honor pay-per-view during WrestleMania weekend, which is a nice relief, because then I don't have to watch like 10 pay-per-views in a week.
God.
But we are going to be doing a live watch along for Bloodsport 13 because not only is Pete Dunne there, Natalia is going to be there, and so is Karrion Kross.
Oh man!
And we know Karrion is black belt jiu-jitsu, can break a whole wooden baseball bat with his thighs. Look up the video on Instagram.
Oh, that's right. Isn't this on like a Thursday too?
This is on a Thursday. Yep, Thursday evening.
Why's it gotta be in a night at work?
Hey, you know what? Me and Andrew will send you all the play-by-play because Andrew is down for the cause.
I'm down for some of it for sure, but Friday morning I got shit to do.
Hey, you know what? So do I. I'm just kidding.
All right.
But Penta,
we'll talk about it.
Yeah, Penta is calling out champions. We'll talk afterwards to figure out where we're going to fit you because everybody going to help. Unless you were like Adolfo last year where he was in Puerto Rico during the whole entire thing.
Fair.
But now he's also not going to be home, but he has no choice because he has to do everything with me since he's going to be down here. Yay!
That's cool.
That's going to be fun. So Penta calling out champions. We're going to talk about you in a little bit. The girls are fighting still.
Still.
So at this point, Dominic is like, hey, we should ask Penta to be in the group. I'm like, don't hate the idea, but Penta is a face right now, so I don't think it's going to happen. And Finn's like, no new members. It's the same thing we've been getting the last couple of weeks. Everybody was in high spirits, and then Dominic had to bring the vibe down, and now they're fighting again. And Finn has to get ready for his championship match, which is main eventing this episode of Raw later. But Finn's like, no new members.
I don't know where we're going. How long they're going to do this I hate you, I don't hate you thing?
Yeah. But we'll see what happens. I'm mad this is only 2 minutes.
Really? It was only 2 minutes?
Yes. And the report is a lot of the matches had to get cut for time because the opening segment went on for a good chunk of time. So we get Dakota Kai versus Ivy Nile. This was like a 2.5 minute match. They did what they could. Dakota Kai does pick up the victory over Ivy Nile. And once again, without Master Chad Gable running around to help them, American Made is kind of on the losing streak right now.
Woof.
I'd have nothing more to add. It makes me sad because I wish they got more time, but 2.5 minutes. They did what they could. I love both of these women. They're great. Moving on. It's sad that I wish I could talk more, but I can't.
No, that's tough. Yeah.
So we had a contract signing. This was amazing. And you know that Triple H and Shawn Michaels love to recreate iconic moments from the company's history. But we have Io Sky, who I love that they can never make us hate her right now, because no matter where she's gone, whether she was in the States last week or internationally, everyone is happy to see Io as champion. I'm like, yep, I am 100%. So Io and Bianca have a contract signing for WrestleMania. Rhea interrupts because she's not about to be tolerating the disrespect with Io pin slapping her last week. And she throws both Io and Bianca through the table. She picks up the contract and signs her name on it, and she declares herself to make this a triple threat at Mania, which you know we're going to be able to get that. And that is what I've wanted. And honestly, I'm excited for Charlotte and Tiffany. I'm excited for Cody and John Cena, but Io, Bianca, and Rhea may have the potential to be my match of the whole entire WrestleMania card.
That's kind of what I was going to say. Like, that's your match of the night, whichever night that's on. The three of them,
I want that to main event one of the nights. Like, I feel like it should.
Well, because we have triple threat, because we have this CM Punk Seth Rollins OTC thing going, right? So is it the night of triple threats? Is that all first night versus second night? Or how do you, I don't know how you shift those around, but this could be amazing.
I want this to main event because it is, I don't think, within the last couple of years, I don't think a women's match has main evented Mania. And I feel like this, to me, this should be the one that main events one of the night one at least. You can have Jay and Gunther go a semi-main event, but I feel like this should be the main event for night one.
I want to look it up. I can't. I thought we had. Hang on. Talk amongst yourselves. I mean, it's only you and me.
So as Professor is looking this, for right now. So I'm excited for this match. I would love to see it main event night one of Mania, because I think all three of these women have come so far from their NXT days. And I think, honestly, this is probably my favorite story right now that we got going on, because Io is the crowd favorite. Bianca Belair is also a crowd favorite. And so is Rhea. Like, regardless if you're presenting somebody as heel or face, the unequivocal general consensus is all three women are beloved, and it doesn't matter whether they are face or heel, because everybody is cheering for all of them, because all three of them are great. Oh, I'm so excited.
I thought there was one sooner. Yeah, I guess not since Becky Lynch and Ronda. It's been that long?
Yeah.
Wow. Oof. No way.
Exactly. So I'm like, main event night one, Triple H, book it, you coward. I'm just kidding. I love you, Hunter. Don't come.
I watched. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't watching a lot of wrestling then, but I think I saw that years ago. Dang, that's crazy. Yeah, that's when Kofi Kingston defeated Daniel Bryan. That's when, I saw this.
When Kofi Mania officially begun, he had the championship, and then ultimately his reign ended when he got squashed by Brock Lesnar in 5 seconds.
Humans
never forget, because I rioted that day. Anyways, can't wait for this match. You know it's going to be a triple threat, despite Scrap Daddy Adam Pearce's trying to explain to Rhea that's not how it works later in the evening, which we'll talk about in a little bit. 30 seconds.
Really?
Again, because the opening segment really cut into the rest of the show. And the internet was actually mad that Austin Theory got squashed in 30 seconds. Not the fact that he lost, but they should have at least give both of these men more time than that.
Yeah, I'd feel mad if I was, I don't know. That's tough.
So Gunther tries to come out. Well, first of all, Grayson Waller beats up on Jay, but gets overpowered easily. Gunther tries to come in for a sneak attack. Jay is able to actually be smart about it and counter, beat Gunther up, push him out of the ring, and hold up the championship in his face. I'm like, at least Jay didn't get beat up for the 5th week in a row and did nothing.
Yeah. Woof.
So moving on. Spear, that is all she wrote. This is what I meant. Scrap Daddy Adam Pearce is trying to keep the peace, telling Rhea that she can't just insert herself. Rhea is be like, try me. And then a whole brawl breaks out between her, Io, and Bianca backstage, where lots of security had to come and break the 3 women up. I'm like, I know I have to suspend my disbelief, but Io, Bianca, and Rhea, I'm like, do you honestly think a multitude of security guards could truly hold these 3 women back?
Probably not.
All Bianca has to do is pull out the braid and be like, psh.
We'll talk about, we had a similar instance on SmackDown, but we'll talk about that when we get there.
Yes, we will. Because we move into an impromptu match with the Kilt is not here, but we have...
Is that his mask?
Yes, we have the Mayo brothers, which is, the Creed brothers of American Made, taking on LWO. LWO picks up the win, but then is attacked by El Americano Generico. I forget the real name. Yes, the mask is on sale for WWE Shop, and it has sold out. And it's Chad Gable, and instead of saying thank you, he's like, gracias!
What the hell is that?
Welcome to, in the words of Childish Gambino, this is America.
Oh my God, that's the thing. We knew it was going to be a mask. I thought it was going to be something cool.
Professor, I'm going to be honest, this is stupid, but this is up my alley of my kind of stupid that I kind of like.
I mean, it grows on me because Goofy Wrestling for life, right? I mean, I love that it's goofy. It's surprising. It looks like Wolverine with the milk mustache.
I might get a wrestling singlet, and we may have to order this mask for the losers of the Predictions League.
Oh my God, it says Americano on the front. Oh, that's so dumb. It's perfect. Wow.
Goofy, as the professor said, Goofy Wrestling for life.
Damn, that's incredible.
Oh. So this is fun. I can't wait. This is stupid, but in the best way possible.
It'd be better if they flapped. Like if they moved a little.
Right? Like they're just like
or so they had like the full cat ear, like thing, like they could do things. Oh my God.
Meow.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
I have no notes. I love this so much. This is stupid, but it's my kind of stupid. I love it. Seth Rollins cuts a promo to basically tell us that we're about to see a brawl happen on SmackDown because he's going to go confront Punk and Roman Reigns on SmackDown. Yeah. That is all. That's really what it is. It was a setup for what we're going to talk about in SmackDown.
Sure. Which this kind of happens. Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. This is a preview of what Monday Night Raw from Glasgow, Scotland is about to be. So we are going to have John Cena and Cody Rhodes kind of have another segment together. Then we also have a Women's Intercontinental Championship match where Lyra will be defending her title against Raquel Rodriguez. We also have a mystery partner. I swear the internet's like, the mystery partner is Joe Hendry. I'm like, that would be amazing. I don't know if it's going to happen, though. But
I don't know. Who's a big Scottish superstar that's not Drew McIntyre?
Sheamus. I'm like, it has to be Sheamus because we haven't seen him on television in weeks. Maybe. I think it's Sheamus.
He could. I'm trying to think of who I don't know. There's got to be someone huge. It could be. Is he hurt or something? He's just been gone for a while.
He's just been gone for a while. I mean, did tweet a picture like a couple days ago because they're also doing live shows in this European tour for Mania. So he's been on a couple of the house show matches. So I would not be surprised if this is where Sheamus comes back. And I have missed the Celtic Warrior, but he has been keeping me entertained on the social medias, and also his workout videos and his series is great. Where Penta and Sheamus is a chaotic energy I did not know I wanted until I saw it. I want Penta as my hype man. It's so good. And of course, CM Punk is going to be at Monday Night Raw in Glasgow. So this is going to be interesting. So that has been your preview for Raw. So now let's get into our main event, which is for the Intercontinental Championship. The dogs are barking. Bronze Breakker taking on the challenger and Finn Balor.
Do you guys just hear about the Finn Balor WrestleMania thing?
No, is it breaking news?
WrestleMania 39. Vince made changes. That was one of the last major changes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Demon Finn was supposed to win, and Edge even wanted Demon Finn to win, but Vince changed it.
Why?
It just came out recently.
Just because it's Vince.
It's because it's Vince. Yeah.
Of course, the match itself was already mired with problems when we had to stop for 5 minutes to stitch Finn back up after getting busted open from a ladder. But then the fact that Edge won, and we all said that the Demon Finn Balor should have won because Demon Finn Balor keeps losing. Well, kept losing over the last couple of years. Yeah. And then that was the last time we saw the Demon Finn Balor because it hasn't come back in the last 2 years. But back to this. We get our Intercontinental Championship match. This is actually a really good match. Of course, we are furthering the story that Judgment Day's breakup is coming because we have issues because Dominic gets involved. We have things happen. Finn Balor gets his nuts tapped on the top turnbuckle rope, which allows Braun Breaker to capitalize and retain his championship. There's not enough time for Finn and Dominic to fight it out because then Judgment Day jumps in to jump Bronze Breaker before Penta comes in for the save. And this is how Monday Night Raw goes off the air this week, with Penta making his intentions known that he is coming after the Intercontinental Championship. And breaking news, this too, apparently tomorrow night we are getting that match between these two.
Damn.
Braun is feuding with 5 different people right now. If we do not get a multi-man ladder match or something, what are we doing with Braun for?
Let him run. It's working.
Seriously. Just let him fight everybody, and then we just get a whole entire ladder match for this title at Mania. Because Braun is feuding with 5 people. I'm here for it.
They've already kind of avoided the Goldberg complex, right? He lost it, won it back. They've given him a little bit of a story here and there. They know he's not immortal. They know he's going to work for it. Dude's talented. The championship means something now, which is great. Make everybody fight for it. Braun and Penta, make that happen. Make that a rubber match. Make that go 3 or 4 times. That's fun.
Seriously. And Penta is also another person who I feel works really well with all types of opponents. I mean, both in Mexico, what we saw when he was in AEW, both as a singles and a tag team person, and in WWE too. I'm like, this is a match I definitely want to see. So
I hope that and we'll talk about this, I hope that with Phoenix being rumored and coming up, that this isn't the last of a singles run for Penta, because Penta as a singles guy does some great stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
I love the Lucha Brothers. I love what they could do for the tag teams up here in WWE. The idea of Lucha Brothers versus frickin' Street Profits or some of these other ones just blows my mind.
Listen, dream matches for me include, yes, the Lucha Bros versus Street Profits, Lucha Bros versus the Motor City Machine Guns.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Versus DIY. And even if you want to throw them some NXT tag teams too, the Fraxium versus the Lucha Bros mini. Can you imagine that? That match would be, it would give me the Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks in the steel cage match we got a couple years ago, energy.
Woof.
But I think it's being reported that Rey Fenix is going to be a SmackDown superstar. So for the time being, it will allow both of them to kind of be on their own before having them come together and run madness across the tag team division. But
remarkable.
This match I'm excited for tomorrow night in Glasgow. This is going to be a great one. And despite all the matches being cut for time because of the opening segment, this was a very solid Raw. I did feel like my time wasn't wasted, and we utilized the majority of our time as best as we could here in Barcelona. So
Barca.
Love it. So now we leave the land of Raw to head on over to the Smacketh of Downs. So we are in Bologna, Italy for this one. When I was little, I thought it was Bologna, pronounced Bologna, but it's Bologna.
I spelled it Bologna in my here in StreamYard. This crowd, I don't want to talk too much about the crowd. We got a lot to talk about. This crowd was ridiculous.
They were great all night.
They just, oh man. To be in Italy on a Friday night, Jesus, remarkable.
I will say that still the best is probably France, but
France is great. Puerto Rico Backlash is also great because it allowed Zelina, Damien, and even Bad Bunny to get such a crowd reaction. It was so great to watch.
Even the Australian crowds are nuts.
I wonder if that's just football culture and the way they cheer and chant and the other stuff, or if it's just the idea of spectacle and events. Like whatever it is, man, they're juiced.
I loved it so much. Well, it's the international crowds that are great too. And it's not just even in WWE, it's across all these companies. Like we talked about last month, Professor, at Grand Slam Australia, like the Australian crowd with their chants and singing, Metalingus where Copeland is just like crazy.
It's like this for a lot of sports, like professional football for the NFL when they play in England, when they play in Mexico.
Yeah.
They have a game in Brazil this year. It's going to be insane.
I do love hearing international crowds use American swear words. It's really some of the funniest. They can't bleep it because they don't know what they're saying, and I don't want to get us demonetized. But I want to say that Barcelona? That was someplace where they couldn't quite pronounce the FU and FU.
Yep.
It was so like, so good.
Well, we're live for 40 minutes. You can say it.
It's just faku. Like what you say?
So I love. Well, even in the United States, I love when crowds begin chanting in other language too. Like this past weekend, TNA Sacrifice. Watching people because there's a large Hispanic population, Latino population in Texas, calling the heels guleros and everything was
hilarious when it happened at Mania when they're doing it with Dom.
Like even the crowded SoFi, the whole SoFi Stadium calling Dominic Mysterio a culero was the funniest in live experience I've had so far.
No, to me it was us booing and cheering the guy running the Jumbotron.
That was the real match of the night. The Jumbotron. We're in the nosebleeds. The screen wasn't working. And we could barely see. Everybody looked like tiny ants down there. And then everyone cheered, not for the match itself, but they fixed it at the right time because it got brought back on right when we had Drew, Sheamus, and Gunther fight it out.
Up and down, on and off. And we're like, boo, yay, boo, yay, boo, yay.
Yeah, I got called a Guero over the weekend.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to hear that story afterwards. I need to hear that one.
By an old Mexican man who went, wait a minute, where's your grandpa from? He's from Ensenada. And he went, oh, you Guido. It's like, what? Hey.
It's like, whoa, hold the phone,
He was on me too. He's like, wait, you really? He's like, yeah. And he's like, I like you a lot, Guido. I'm like, okay, I don't know how I feel about this.
I was like, hey, you know what? It's the best I will get, so I'm going to take it. But
it's all right.
SmackDown kick things off. Yeah. We kick things off with Randy Orton promising to kick Kevin Owens in the face. That is the summary of all we need to know. Yeah. And Kevin Owens is like, I'm sorry. Like I didn't mean to. And Randy's like, I'm going to punch you in the face. That's what you deserve.
Yeah. I don't think we needed 20 minutes.
I've missed
for that.
Randy so much. And this is how we do match graphics because y'all remember a couple weeks ago, I complained with what we initially started with. This is much better to me.
I don't know, man.
So we are getting Randy Orton.
Bitch Owens, bitch was pretty funny. I thought that was good. Bitch Owens, bitch.
I kind of wish. I don't think we needed 20 minutes for this. I wish they played up the angle of the fact that he hears voices is because Kevin dropped him on his head. I kind of wanted that
popped me
promo
so hard. I was like,
just to be like, I haven't heard these voices for a while, and then drops them on his head, and now it's they're back. It's like, oh shit.
We're bringing back 2009 Randy Orton. I'm here for it.
Randy Orton being a menace on the roster.
Yeah.
But they've stopped every punt attempt, and I'm pissed. Let him punt somebody, a jobber or something.
It's coming. They'll save it for WrestleMania. He'll kick Kevin in the face. It'll be great.
He'll punt Owens in the face. And honestly, I feel like Kevin deserves a little bit of a vacation after everything he's gone through. That match at Elimination Chamber was amazing. That was
live after that match.
For real. Sammy's on vacation right now. So yeah, I agree with you, Professor. I don't think we needed 20 minutes for this, but I am excited that we got another match. Again, SmackDown is not wasting time. But like, let's just start making matches. We know
I feel like this might be the opener. I feel like this might open night one.
That I can see that. I feel like this is a good opening match, honestly, for either night, but having it be the Saturday opener would be great.
Because this is like, we're going to set the bar. Let's set the bar here, and then we can kind of wax and wane, but we've already set some expectations.
No, so I'm excited. This is going to be great. It's going to be a very fun but a very long night because it starts at 4. It probably ain't going to end until like 8:30. So we'll see what happens with all of that. We get a tag team match where we had Big Jimmy Uso teaming up with Damian Priest, taking on the Scottish psychopath in Drew McIntyre, teaming up with Shinsuke Nakamura of all people. I was like, I'm kind of here for Shinsuke and Drew.
I was too. The most random tag team pairings you can think of, but it was good.
It's just action figure shit, right? It's just, oh no, here's Shinsuke. Oh no, here's Jimmy. Like,
and literally, that's the best way to describe this match. It was just people doing things. It's like us playing with action figures, but I was here for it. Damian and Big Jimmy Uso do pick up the victory here, but not before Drew McIntyre lays out Damian Priest. I know people are upset because this is not what they want for Drew at WrestleMania, but I'm like, look, when you have a big Scottish man and a big Puerto Rican man going blow for blow, like that's a recipe for fun in my eyes. This is going to be a big meat slap fest. It's going to be great.
Fun. Everyone he could be feuding with is tied up with other stuff. They tried a few different things here and there. They just decided to pivot so many times. I hope Drew is happy. He seems like he, early, about a year ago, he was sort of, I don't like this, I don't like that. How's this going? And as we got Drew McIntyre, like, that moniker that showed up a few times, which is still one of my favorites. I don't know. I wonder what they will do with him and who's even next in line for any feud with him. I didn't hate this. I thought this was fun. It got a good, almost 10 minutes. Like, they got a good chunk of time here to do this stuff. It was kind of funny watching Jimmy just stand in the ring waiting for everyone to come to him. It just started like, all right, you guys going to fight out there? That's cool. And then he jumps on top of him. I think this will be fun. I'm sad because I feel like it was Shinsuke's not getting renewed, right? Like, that was what broke. Like, we don't think he's coming back.
So, okay. So the report was that they were going to renew his contract, and then we come to find out from Fightful that's not the case. So, but Shinsuke is dealing with some personal stuff right now, as we talked about 2 weeks ago with the passing of his brother. So, and anybody who knows about Japanese funerals, those are weeks. Right. It's not like a day or a weekend. It is like weeks to a month of like process and funeral and grieving and all that tradition.
Shinsuke looks different, right? He looks like his head is not quite in it. He's not quite there, and that's horrifying and that's sad. And I think he just needs some of that time. I think they need to give him that time.
Yeah, shout out to Shinsuke and his family. We send thoughts, prayers, and vibes to this time of mourning.
I would like to think it's kind of a mixed blessing that they're in Europe and not the States, so it's probably an easier flight. It's just a little bit of a different trek for him, so he can probably do this European tour a little easier.
Right.
But yeah, I hope he's all right.
He's probably working. They probably, knowing Shinsuke, he probably says, "No, I'm working it."
He'll go and then he'll fly back and then just do all that.
Knowing Shinsuke, he probably told him I'm working it and didn't want the time off.
Sure.
So give him a lighter schedule, which is great. Which, we don't talk about that often, which I'm kind of digging in this new era of WWE, because beforehand, if everybody was working almost all the time, hardly any breaks. But now we got people being able to pre-tape stuff to spend major holidays with folks, with families and stuff like that, and people being able to take time off and whatever. So good on this new era for actually caring about their talent and not overworking them, because it also prevents lots of injuries, as we can talk about multiple times before. Fun opening match. This was fun. We move on. The fact that the camera has to be like, so they are on stairs for a reason. Because Braun Strowman is a huge son-of-a-mish. But
I thought this was fun. I had no problem with this promo. I thought it was funny. We'll talk about the match and where this goes in a second, but I thought this was great. This was fun.
I love the possibility of LA Knight versus Braun Strowman, which we'll talk about when we preview SmackDown, because apparently that was a thing that's being made for next week, which I'm like, okay, this is going to be interesting. So either this is going to be a regular match or somehow this gets extended to Mania, but we shall see. This was a fun promo. I love both of these two. Braun's like, there is no other option. I am number one contender for your championship, and I'm going to show Jacob Fatu that that is the case. So fantastic. This is fun. Okay, so am I still excited for the match? Yes. But I feel that this... I don't blame Tiffany, because Tiffany is still new in this high-pressure situation. This is the first time she is kind of in this big spotlighted role. But it just it doesn't help that it's against Charlotte, because Charlotte kind of nuked her on the mic on this one.
Yeah, but like, why?
This wasn't great, but this wasn't bad. But it was very middle of the road.
Why do this at all? We didn't get anything from this.
No, and I liked what we got last week. Just let the girls fight for a couple of weeks, because finally Tiffany
run their mouths. That's fine. This sort of split screen thing didn't really sell to me. I mean, if that was just because they couldn't travel or they were someplace else, fine. I don't know. Something was missing from this one. I do think Charlotte Flair's talented. I do think Charlotte Flair as this sort of Botox Skeletor kind of works for her. As a heel, right? Because she just looks like, evil, angry white woman, and that's fine. That's what she's turned into.
Botox Skeletor.
Not to be mean, but that's just what I see.
What? How do you come up with this shit?
Sometimes words just come out of my mouth. But Tiffany's face, but not full face. She's still Tiffany, but we like her for that. I don't know. It's they're really trying to make something happen. I wish it's just falling a little flat.
So after watching this, I thought about this. I think I feel like WWE did this in reverse, because Tiffany she cashed in and she won the championship, which is what we've been wanting after she was getting week after week bullied essentially by Nia and all that. And that was a really rewarding moment, because she finally had enough and she cashed it in. I think my biggest issue with this, now the match at Mania, I think they're going to over deliver, which, I'm okay with, but I think
which is better, right? Yeah.
Right. But I feel that what happened here is that WWE worked in reverse, where they had Charlotte win the Rumble, but they didn't decide whether they were going to make her a face or a heel. And they kind of shot themselves in the foot by having Charlotte return at the Rumble, win said Rumble, is getting a match at Mania, but we haven't seen what this returning Charlotte Flair was going to be for returning character, and now she's kind of defaulted into the queen once again.
Sure.
But it also doesn't help Tiffany, because they also didn't know whether they wanted Tiffany to be full babyface or I want to see Tiffany go back to her NXT character where she is the princess, the Barbie, and she is the mean girl who will also beat your face up.
Yeah.
I want her to take digs at Charlotte. I want her.
It'd be hard to be princess versus the queen, because they're like, these two really didn't interact.
I want Mean Girl Tiffany from NXT, where she'll call out Charlotte and the divorce from Andrade and like make little mean digs about her family's history and her dad
being Botox Skeletor.
Someone
going
drops
after
a
her
Skeletor
dad.
choke on Charlotte Flair. They will. Creative will be so happy. Just crush them.
Yeah. So match I'm still excited for, but WWE is kind of struggling right now.
My father got thrown off a plane. Until we meet again. And she just runs away.
Hi, Charlotte and Tiffany. I apologize that you're in this situation. I really do. All right, moving on. This, on paper, I was super excited about this. And I did not mind the interference DQ because if it's going the direction I think it's going for Jacob Fatu, it makes me excited. But technically, this starts out as a number one contendership to LA Knight's United States Championship. The big SOB himself, Braun Strowman, taking up the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu. We get about 7 minutes into the match before we get interference from the Temu weekend / the weekday, Solo Sikoa and Mr. Yeah himself and Tama Tonga. And they beat up on Braun Strowman before LA Knight, of all people, comes from the save.
I really wanted that Ring of Honor handshake. I really wanted that. You want this, come and get it thing between the two of them at the end of this. I think that would have buttoned it perfectly for me. Instead, they went full, I'm the alpha. No, I'm the alpha. No, I'm the alpha. And that was a cool opportunity to kind of give it a little bit more of a European nod, just to be like, all right, competition, as opposed to what we got.
Every time I think of Jacob Fatu and LA Knight, I just think of the time when Fatu was screaming at Nick Aldis and LA Knight just comes in, throws his ass outside and goes, he wasn't using his outside voice. He wasn't using his inside voice, so I threw his ass outside. Now I got a match to win. Yeah, and then leaves. Every time. That's the thing I think about every single time.
I forgot about that line. That's such a good line.
I think about that. I just saw that the other day. So now every time I think of those two together, that's what I think of. And yeah, sorry. I just thought about that again. I thought it was really funny.
That's really funny. I didn't hate this segment. I mean, I think we're going to get Braun and Fatu every night while they're in Europe, because they could just have big man meet going for the crowds, right?
Can we get Braun Breaker versus Jacob Fatu?
Yo,
that'd be something else.
Oh, that match! I think we'll get that match probably in the second half of 2025, because WWE did confirm they're going to bring back the draft this year. So who knows?
Well, Fatu going after the Intercontinental title after whatever happens with the family, like we're seeing them break up. That's cool. I'm willing to watch that.
So I am excited.
I'm still here. Bad podcasting. I'm still here.
Go for it. But this does set up Braun and LA Knight. So Braun is now officially the number one contender. And we'll talk about that when we preview the show. But we get backstage shenanigans. Liv Morgan is upset at Jade Cargill that she spent all these weeks trying to accuse people, but she didn't apologize for accusing Liv. And I was like, you know what, Liv? You have the right to be mad, because you and Raquel were not the ones who pushed Jade into that car off of the thing. And the Naomi and Bianca and Jade were going to come after you and fight y'all for it. So Liv has no qualms of beating up Jade. And I was like, you know what, Liv? You have the right to be mad.
Reasonable crash out.
Exactly. Speaking of crashing out, Jacob is not having it with Solo and Tama Tonga's interference. And, Solo's like, I did it for you.
I did it for The Rock.
I did it for The Rock. No, so Solo and Jacob and Tama all have this conversation and this confrontation backstage. Jacob is pissed of the fact of the interference that happened. So, damn, Professor, Jacob Fatu yelling at these two made you crash out.
You're just like, all right, I'm excited to talk about what happened.
So perfect timing and joining back up with us. But yeah, so Jacob Fatu is not happy with Tama and Solo's interference, and we get this backstage argument between the three.
Great. Do something.
It's for reals. Solo versus Jacob needs to be happening. It has to be happening relatively soon, because we're continuing to break this up.
Well, because they're all, they are all, we've gotten rid of this we are family, we are tribe thing. It's already dissipated. So now it's just these are the loose ends of these solos trying to hang on to a dynasty that doesn't exist anymore. Tonga Loa's stuck. Tama Tonga's out still. Fatu. Everybody wants to see Fatu. Like, break them up. Like, let's just go. Fatu going to Raw might be the best idea, right? Get him over there, get him running wreck on all those folks for a while. Him and Braun for the Intercontinental. My God.
Yeah.
Him and Ludwig Kaiser. Jeez. Like, there's some matches you could make in there.
Even if it's not for a championship, Jacob versus Gunther would be crazy too.
Who would be?
I think Jacob on Raw would be great because right now, outside of Braun Breaker, Raw doesn't really have any quote unquote monsters right now.
Sure.
And so SmackDown has Mr. Strowman over here, as well as a couple other things. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see post WrestleMania when the draft happens. I think in May, they said, or even June. We'll figure all that out where everyone ends up. So, but the cracks are continuing to form. We'd love to see it. Wardrobe malfunctions aside, I thought this was a fun match.
Oh, was there really? I didn't catch that.
Zelina's papayas almost popped out twice. Ave
Maria.
Piper Niven won a match.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Piper Niven won a match.
And Zelina. So shout out to the man Simon Miller who pointed this out for me because I didn't really even think about it until he said it. Zelina challenged Chelsea for her belt, and we thought it was going to be another classic beat to the minions, then face the person. She just lost. She didn't beat the minion. She just lost to the minion.
Wow, that's tough.
Of course, we did have some interference from the other Secret Service agent of Alba Fire, but you know what? Now, for me, I kind of like that Zelina lost because now, to me, Zelina works better when she's in a face. She works better as, well, like most faces do, as the underdog. So, but we also know Zelina is Puerto Rican, so if she can channel that Bad Bunny, Damian Priest energy and just beat up bitches left and right backstage until she gets that match with Chelsea, I'm kind of here for it.
It gives her something to do, right? Like we said, something to push against. Some faces just work better that way, like Zelina surely does. I know we kind of had the interference and whatever else. I agree with Minnie. I'm kind of glad to see Piper, not get jobbed. It's kind of makes me happy. Like, get Piper doing stuff. I'm glad she's supporting Chelsea Green. I love what Chelsea Green's doing. I still want to see more Piper crushing people, like running for titles and things. But now she's in this situation, so we'll see.
Yeah, I'm glad to see her. She's doing things because for some reason Piper is just used as the big girl that the big strong woman can do their big power moves on to make them look strong. That's it. But she's the one that Bianca can hit the KOD on and be like, oh, look, Bianca's strong. And then Piper's like, I'm just relative to be the big girl. So it's nice to see her win.
I think slowly now that we're in the Triple H era, I think that we are slowly, eventually, hopefully by the end of this year, I think we're going to see Viper Niven, the one that we got to event. We're slowly getting there. I want to see Viper Niven come back from NXT UK, but But this was a fun match.
Better than Doudrop.
At least SmackDown is now doing something that is not Meechin and Chelsea Green. Yeah, I purged Doudrop from my memory. Like, that was such a bad
Somebody
thing.
A video I watched. It was another Walk Culture video reminded me of Doudrop because she was with Eva Marie.
That was
another name you guys wouldn't. It was the funny thing is, when that happened during the main portion of the Women's Revolution with the Four Horsewomen.
Yeah, that was a very weird time.
That was going on at the same time as Eva Marie and Doudrop. No offense to Piper Niven, she's great. That was just a stupid gimmick they gave her.
But then again, we look at who was in charge at that time.
I was just gonna say, like, that sounds like McManigan.
Yep, McManning it up. Instead of shenanigans, it's McManigans. Yep,
McManigans.
Yep. We're gonna put that on a t-shirt.
That's how we refer to every Vince McMahon thing ever from now on.
Look at all of these McManigans going on.
For reals. But this was a fun match. Piper does win, and you know what? Gives something for Zelina to do. So at least this is something new that is not just Chelsea and Meechin for the 5th time, though. I would not be upset by another round with those two. But
some folks are just stuck in sort of mid-card purgatory, waiting for their chance, and I hope she gets something later in the year. I'd like to see more from Piper.
Same.
And Selena. I want to see Selena back doing cool shit.
Oh, yes. We need more for Zelina too. Love it. So we move on. Guys, we are getting closer with Aleister Black.
Is this true? Is this what that is?
Yes, this is teasing Aleister, and the internet sleuths think he will be debuting on the April 24th edition of SmackDown.
Dude. Who's he fight? Or did he just appear?
I think, well, I don't know. And it depends. Are we going to get the NXT Black and Gold Aleister Black, or are we going to continue with the Dark Father character that he had before getting released, which I actually really dug, though. But I am here for Aleister coming back. And I'm excited. SmackDown.
I might have a different take on some of these. I don't mind the teasers for folks. I think the surprise is always more interesting.
That is very true.
Tell me nothing and just walk out there, as opposed to counting down what I already know.
Mm-hmm.
I think they should have made this a surprise, and it could have even been a WrestleMania. He just appears and then disappears, and go, "Oh shit, he's here!" Like
that would be, yeah. But you know what? I don't mind the teases, especially because I also feel like these are like the worst kept secrets, especially for people like us who are reviewing this and we keep up with the wrestling news too. Yeah. So, and also I think that these teases are also addressing the fact that beforehand, while the surprises are cool in this day and age, also though, the problem with those surprises is that even though we knew WWE underneath the previous regime insulted the intelligence of fans when it comes to these, so Triple H is like, we know that y'all know, we ain't dumb, we ain't gonna pretend y'all don't know. But I'm with you, Professor, in the sense I'm very interested in the manner in which he debuts.
Well, look how much work they had to do for the Cena turn to make that any kind of secret. 3 people knew, and then Papa Helmsley had to take over the booth at the last second. Maybe I'm just sounding like an old person. Like, back in my day, it used to be a surprise, and we liked it, And I guess you're right. The internet is kind of
too many people have to know about a return for it.
It's the worst kept secret, and in this digital age with so many news outlets, like surprises are very hard to keep under wraps.
No, there's been a couple where we're just genuinely very surprised about, but those are few and far between now.
Yeah.
Like, this is how long it's been for me since I've been genuinely very surprised about a return. It was Edge coming back from his injury.
Yeah, that was a true surprise when he returned in the Rumble.
Oh, no, Punk. CM Punk's too. I was genuinely...
Carlito coming out of Backlash was a surprise.
And Carlito too, yeah.
I was kind
of... but yeah, Punk for sure. And then we all knew that Cody would face Seth at WrestleMania 38, but it was still a wild moment of
Gangrel getting stuck in the mat. That was a surprise.
So I think and to Professor to add on to what you said too, I think it's just a testament of the digital as wrestling fans as well, because everyone has access to news feeds and everyone has access to the internet too to look stuff up. So I'm more interested in the manner in which we debut Aleister Black, but I am happy to have him in here. If we're just waiting for Aleister to return, here's what I want for his first feud. Give me Aleister and Andrade best of 7. That I can get behind.
Damn. Woof.
And also I would not mind if Aleister, Andrade, and Zelina formed a little faction on SmackDown.
I'm genuinely intrigued because I don't know what they're gonna do with him, and I think that makes it more fun.
But I think it would be fun to watch Aleister and wifey Zelina work together too on the same brand.
I really want to see a fastball special with them. I really want to see him throw the chest past her into somebody else and just cross. Oh, so great. But we'll see.
Yeah, so this tease for Aleister, I'm excited about. Dare I say, I think this is probably the best singles match that Jade has had.
Really?
I think so.
You sure?
Now to be fair, Jade has had not a lot of singles matches, but dang, she looks great. Liv worked really well with Jade. And I know some people are like, this is where Jade gets her first big loss in WWE. I'm like, I'm not mad at it.
No, I liked this match. I thought this was fun.
It was a clean-cut way to end that Liv Jade shit.
I kind of like that Liv. I mean, Liv's amazing, and she sells so well, and she makes everyone look so good. I don't know if you two saw it, but it was making the rounds on Instagram again. The clip of her going, "Wrestling is fake," and it's her black eye and her stitches, and her pelvis bleeding, and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Girl has taken bruises and scrapes and bumps and all kinds of stuff.
I thought this was a lot of fun. I thought this was gonna. I'm gonna be honest. I kind of rolled my eyes. I saw this and went, "Oh, please don't suck." Like I had this moment of like, I really hope this clicks. And it was great. It was fun. It was like, all right. I'm not sure why I felt that way. I don't know if it was my hesitation with Jade. It was like,
right.
Oh, he's Jade. I think there was more of that. Like, hey, Jade, show up, show out. We know you're talented. It's been a while. Show me you got something. Okay, cool. There's some run in there. All right. This is a lot of fun. I don't hate the ending of this with Naomi showing up like a crossing guard. That doesn't bother me too much.
Dark Naomi is kind of fire. I do like this darker look she's going with.
Yeah.
Also, I need to know, Naomi, do you still do your own outfits? Because, girl, they be popping every week for me.
Yeah. It looked like Jade hit her head on whatever that strange thing was. It looked like it got her right on the top of the head. So it was a little bit of a, but then she seemed fine after that. Great match. This was the sleeper match for me that I kind of slept on, but it was actually really great.
Right.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this. Naomi beats up Jade afterwards. So we don't know if this is going to end up like being a match before Mania, at Mania, but now I'm more invested in Naomi and Jade, especially if Naomi comes out and just beats the tar out of her opponents in the next couple weeks. Here's what I would like to see. Give Naomi a couple of girls where she could be more quote unquote evil with and just be more heelish to establish that. And then, same thing with Jade, have her work with people and things like that. So
put her in damage control.
Damage control.
Right? And
I mean, something. at least until Kairi and Asuka come back, like poor Dakota Kai is now on her own technically.
Yeah. You because have this whole segment. You don't like anybody. I don't like anybody. Let's work together. Done.
So much fun. But yeah, this made me more invested in Naomi and Jade. I was invested because I like both girls, but now I'm like, all right, let's see where Dark Naomi goes with all of this and where Jade goes from here. So I ain't mad.
Yeah.
A tease for Ray Phoenix. This is the second one we got. The last week was him chilling on the ring post doing cool poses, but I'm like, I'm excited. This is gonna be good.
Yeah.
Having him on SmackDown is gonna be great.
Like we said though, like I love the Lucha Brothers. I really like seeing Penta tear it up right now. So eventually when they come together, I hope they maximize that, because I saw them live 2 years ago out in San Francisco, just doing crazy stuff. And I've never seen that before. So if they can capture any of that for WWE, that's going to be amazing.
Right. And then I was lucky enough on a Rampage, nonetheless, 30 minutes of the Bucks and Lucha Bros on a Rampage was in Ontario, California. Was amazing.
So good.
It was so much fun. But I'm excited for Ray to debut. And I think his debut is set, if I read the reports correctly, either a little bit before or right after Mania. So that's going to be fun. So this is going to be interesting. We get an impromptu match, non-title, Street Profits versus Los Garza. I couldn't find the picture, but once again, Montez Ford is the internet's best memeable person.
Oh yeah,
because yeah, he gets flipped over and just stands. Los Garza are still on the turnbuckle, like, oh my god, this dude is not.
He sold that for like 60 seconds.
It was there, so good, but this was fun. Los Garza, of course, I was like, they're not going to win. But again, Def Rebel, unfortunately, has hit the Profits with new music. And I'm like, no.
What's going on with the ref in this picture?
I think the ref is just like checking on Los Garza, but she's also, yeah, them boys did it.
Yeah, she's a little bit of like, yeah, I'm okay with it.
She's about to get hit with the most devastating move in all professional wrestling. Surprise roll-up.
Yeah. So, I thought this was fun. I thought this was great. I feel like Santos and Los Garza are now like, he's just Santos is the villain with two horrible henchmen that just can't do anything right. And we're kind of stuck in that sort of, Inspector Gadget. Oh, like no one can do the job.
Yeah. But shout out to Santos. Speaking in fluent Italian was amazing. I was yo. Then again, I have come to know that a lot of, especially luchadors, they can speak more than one language more than two outside of English and Spanish. What is it?
Well, WWE offers a free language program.
Duolingo.
Do they really?
Yeah, John Cena talks about it on Logan Paul's podcast. That's how John Cena knows Mandarin.
No way.
It is great. There's lots of great ways, but yeah. It makes a lot of sense too, because luchadors, like the three languages that luchadors primarily learn, I've come to learn, is obviously English, Spanish, but they also know a lot of Japanese too, because surprisingly, there's a lot of lucha libre connection to the strong style of Japan. As we see in New Japan, we literally have El Desperado, who is a Japanese luchador. Same thing with Titan, who frequents CMLL Arena Mexico and the New Japan shows as well in Japan. So this is great. I thought this was fun. Now, I am so excited though, because this backstage segment, this is giving me what I want from the Yes Boys. Finally be like, DIY is like, hey, so DIY wants to help the Boys of Pretty Deadly win their championship match against the Profits next week, because they are at the O2 Arena in London next Friday. And so DIY is like, look, we can help you win, and then in return, you guys can give us first crack at the title shots. And the Yes Boys go, no boys. And they basically turn down DIY, restating the fact that you threw us under the bus. You lied and said we lied for you, and you didn't keep your end of the bargain. So what makes you think that now that we're in this position, that we're going to do this for you? You can kick rocks, essentially. And then as they leave, the sweetest cherry on the top of this is Motor City Machine Guns is like, we know where we're at, but hey, DIY, welcome to the back of the line where you belong. I was like, damn. So I'm like, DIY, Motor City Machine Guns round 2, would not be surprised.
Motor City Machine Guns sounded a little clunky, not to be nitpicky. It was a little.
No, you're absolutely right.
I'm reading this off the script. Like, okay.
Promos have never been Motor City Machine Gun's strong suit, even in TNA.
Sure.
But in-ring wise, they're fantastic. But yeah, so the Yes Boys are like, Yes Boys tell the DIY no boys, and they get their championship next week at the O2 Arena in London.
The only thing that makes me nervous is I would love to see Pretty Deadly get the tag team championships at the O2 Arena in London. I would be so pissed off that the Street Profits were a transitional championship for 2 weeks. I would be so mad.
So there are three options that go. There are 3 options that I see happening next Friday on SmackDown. 1, Profits retain, beat the Yes Boys, a Pretty Deadly clean. Number 2, Yes Boys win the tag team championships clean, but the problem then lies that we just made the Profits as transitional champs for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Number 3,
after not having it for what, 2 years, 3 years, something like that, they said.
Option number 3 is that Profits win, but somehow DIY, upset at the Yes Boys, cause a interference of some sort and cost them. Or option 4 is that we get a DQ. Those are the options that we have right now.
Street Profits win, but the Yes Boys make it a really good match.
Yes, that is the option number 1. That if we're not going to have Pretty Deadly win next week, I want to see
make them look really strong. Yeah.
Yes.
Really strong.
I hope so.
Or Triple H just blows our fucking minds and has them get squashed.
No.
Oh, I'd be so mad. I don't know, man. I don't want to see the Street Profits be transitional champions. That makes me upset. But I would love to see Pretty Deadly get the flowers that we've been talking about for a few years now. I don't know. I hope it's not a BS DQ thing like we talked about, and nobody comes out happy type of thing.
If we're gonna have Pretty Deadly lose, as what I'm assuming may or may not happen, I want them to at least. I know they are capable of being a great tag team. I've seen it in NXT UK with Pretty Deadly. They were the longest reigning NXT UK tag team champions.
Yeah.
And their matches with other tag teams in that division were fantastic. So if we're going to have Pretty Deadly lose, I need Triple H to let the Profits and the boys, the Yes Boys here, have like a 15-minute match for these titles. Like, I need this. And I think, honestly, I'm gonna be honest, I would not be surprised if that championship match main event, since we are in London.
Oh, it absolutely should. Absolutely should.
And it's crazy. The O2 Arena is not it's a huge arena.
That place is huge. Yeah.
I shouldn't listen. There are a lot of DJs that always dream of playing at big venues, and O2 in London is one of those big venues.
I got to go back to London. I was there just for the week I was there. I was like, oh, I want to be here. Can I just be here? That'd be great.
I remember you were so bummed because you would be gone I think 2 or 3 days before there was going to be a Progress Wrestling show.
I would have gone. It was not far from where I was. I was like, oh, I'm going to go see all this out.
Listen,
over here.
BC WrestlePod in the next 2 or 3 years, we're going to try to go international because the CMLL team is trying to figure out, how do we get the 3 of us to go to Arena Mexico and watch CMLL Lucha Libre action live? We will figure out a way.
Mexico?
Arena Mexico is in Mexico City.
It's Mexico City?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
We will make a trip. We will figure something out. We will do fundraising. We will figure this out. But speaking of talking about next week, we have 2 championship matches on SmackDown in London next week, the WWE Tag Team Championships, and we are getting a United States Championship match between LA Knight versus Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how that United States Championship match ends.
That's great. I love that.
But let's talk about this ending. We ended with this face-off between Roman, Seth, and Punk. It did its job, but I feel like we were overhyped for nothing. Like, this was overhyped.
Yeah, there was no. This was more for the crowd in attendance than it was for us.
I think so, which is fine.
Which is fine. This was for the people of Bologna to go, I was in Italy and I saw the 3 of them. And that's fine.
And
CM Punk still playing up the you owe me a favor thing. I'm really intrigued on what that's going to be. I have a hunch. I don't want to say it out loud, but I have a hunch what it might be.
So yeah, this went about the way I thought it would.
Thank you for saving me.
Well, no, it did, because it was the It was the formula of one person starts out, interruption. Yeah. We get a little, it's the formula of one person starts, interruption. Everybody talks for a little bit, brawl breaks out, all 3 of them at separate points during this brawl point at the Mania sign. And then we get it officially confirmed at Mania. It is a triple threat match this is a match built on hate, which is Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk in a triple threat match against each other. Don't let this main event any of the nights. I'm just putting it out there.
It probably will.
I probably will.
That would be the favor.
This is probably your night 1, end of the night thing.
Listen, I love all 3 of these individual, but if you're going to have a triple threat main event, I honestly think that while Roman, Seth, and CM Punk in name alone are big money draws, to me, if you really want to make history, I think Io, Bianca, and Rhea should be the ones that close out night 1 for that triple threat championship.
Sure.
You can let this be the semi-main event, but let the girls main event.
I think that, they really want CM Punk to have that WrestleMania moment. They really want him to main event in some way. And I don't know if he wants to share it with 2 other guys. This might be an appeasement thing. I don't know. This is probably gonna be your main event or semi-main event, right?
Yeah. Now, if I were the girls and I wanted to be petty, if I found out that this was main eventing night one and Io and Bianca and Rhea would be the semi-main event, I would get if I were Io, I would get the other two. I was like, listen, as much as I love Triple H and Hunter and what we're doing, I think the three of us need to over deliver. So the crowd be like, honestly, I would be petty as hell. I would be like, listen, we need to go out there. We need to show up. We need to show out. We need to over deliver because we should be the talking point. And half the time, the women's matches end up being the talking points when people review WrestleMania. And Absolutely. It's like they never get to main event anything. Like when we were in SoFi night one, the main event was Kevin Owens and the Usos for the tag team championships where Kevin and Sammy won the titles. But that was not the match that I was the most fond of. It was Charlotte versus Rhea for the championship.
Right.
And that was semi-main event before that tag team match.
We'll see. Well, I'm sure we'll digest this and cut it apart 100 different ways by the time we get there. I'm happy to see these three in a triples threat. And that's big for me to say something because I don't really like triple threats. Triple threats kind of drive me crazy. I'm on the record for saying that. I think the women's triple threat has the potential to be a match of the night. I hope this one does. Seth CM Punk absolutely would. Hell, Roman CM Punk could be a match of the night. The three of them together, I want to see it.
I do too. But that is how SmackDown goes off the air, and we've reached the end of this week's Dual Dynasty review for WWE. Yeah, I have nothing left to say. We are 4 weeks out from Mania, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So, that was crazy once.
It is definitely crazy for sure. But in our road to WrestleMania, I will bring this up every chance I get. But it has been officially announced last week, but I'll continue to say it again, that the BC WrestlePod will be having their second annual WrestleMania Hell Week, where the team here at BC WrestlePod will be dividing itself up to be covering all the madness that is WrestleMania. But we've expanded our thing. So we have GCW's Bloodsport 13 watch along on Thursday leading into WrestleMania weekend. Friday is Joey Janela's Spring Break 9. Saturday morning is NXT Stand and Deliver, with Saturday evening WrestleMania Night 1. Sunday is WrestleMania Night 2 watch along. And then the following 4 days is nothing but reviews, where we review Stand and Deliver, Night 1 of Mania, Night 2 delayed Mania, GCW's Effie's Big A Brunch, and also TNA's Unbreakable, because they decided to have a show in the middle of that week as well. It's going to be a lot. I cannot wait. The team of myself and my 10 BC WrestlePod hosts are going to be dividing themselves amongst, if possible, to do all the stuff. So I'm excited. But until then, enjoy the road to Mania, as it's going to be filled with these weekly TV reviews. We also have a couple of New Japan shows coming up very shortly, as well as Progress Wrestling and the review for Fix Your Hearts next Thursday. So I'm excited. There's a lot going on in April. It's about to go down. Be prepared. It is going to be chaotic, but it's great. But for now, we are going to sign off for today. And so from myself, Minnie, the Professor, In Spirit, Kilt, and the rest of the BC WrestlePod family, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic, and more importantly than anything, you deserve to finish your story. We will catch you for another fun week of wrestling goodness and madness. But until then, sayonara, adios, and Minnie, remind the folks, why do we do what we do here at BC WrestlePod? We will catch you later this week. Have a good evening.